What's up, guys? I hope you all had a chance to enjoy week 1 and soak in some football. Today I'm here to piss you off by ranking your team lower than you think they probably deserve. Power rankings are dumb, but it's fun to debate with y'all in the comments, so let's see what you got. This order will be used to determine my monthly 2019 mock draft order also. You should check out the one I did this summer after this. I'll leave a link in the description. Also, if you like this kind of fresh weekly NFL content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the notification squad so you never miss a video. My goal is to stay up late after the Monday Night Football doubleheader, so this video could be posted early Tuesday morning, but I must have been so tired that I recorded the whole thing with my mic on mute. So here we are with take number 2. This might get tough, and I may have bitten off more than I can chew with weekly videos, but I'm going to try and update my power rankings each Tuesday. The goal in this video is 200 likes. If we hit that goal, I'll keep pumping out power ranking videos. If we don't, then RIP. Let's get started. We're going to go from worst to first. Alright, Bills Mafia, put the pitchforks down and listen up. I know you're not as bad as the scoreboard in Baltimore. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Bills coaches knew that Josh Allen didn't stand a chance in his first start against that defense, and with the Chargers coming to town, I don't know if this is the moment for him to make his first start either. Even with the torching we saw Patrick Mahomes and company put on them and Joey Bosa potentially out again. Nathan Peterman is familiar with throwing interceptions to the Chargers anyways, so just lower your expectations for the season and know that your time with Josh Allen is coming. You might as well be the first ones to start checking out my 2019 mock draft while you're at it. I didn't expect the Cardinals to beat the Redskins in week 1, but they got manhandled on both sides of the ball. The Sam Bradford era could end due to poor production rather than injury, like I think everyone assumed. I don't think that's a bad thing though. With a trip to LA to play the Rams coming up, the dreaded 0-2 start looks inevitable. It's gonna be a long season, Cardinals fans. Hold on to your butts. My condolences go out to Detroit. The good news is that that wasn't the worst performance of the week. The bad news is that it looks like the floor is about to fall out from underneath you. Jim Caldwell might not have been an exciting head coach, but he was a consistent one and was going to keep them competitive. Now you've got a rookie head coach that had his team very unprepared to play against another rookie quarterback, making his first start in prime time. With the 3 other teams in the NFC North looking like they're vying for the playoffs, it looks like things might get worse before they get better for the Lions. The Browns did not lose. I repeat, the Browns did not lose. This is not a drill, folks. In the most Browns way ever, the Browns found a way to end their losing streak. For those of you that watched my week 1 pick'em video, you know I actually picked the Browns to win this game, so I was definitely pulling for them to win. I expect the Browns to be big jumpers in these power rankings as the season progresses, but my only hesitation is that they possibly overachieved a little due to the matchup being a familiar opponent and the hype surrounding the week 1 opener. Stay tuned, Cleveland. The Raiders looked pretty good in their John Gruden debut, but I'm pretty worried when the honeymoon is over that the oldest roster in the NFL will start to regress. They are relying on too many veterans at too many key positions in a young man's sport. But hey, on the bright side, Gruden has been out of football for a decade and showed more offensive creativity than the Cowboys offense. The Buccaneers basically shocked the entire world with their performance against the Saints. I feel like an idiot after telling everybody that was probably the week 1 pick I felt the safest about. But I think that's really what makes the NFL so great, is that the parity is so real, and then when it comes down to divisional opponents, it's really anyone's game. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I really don't see that trend continuing despite the fact that they've got so many weapons on offense. I just don't trust Ryan Fitzpatrick to do this on a regular basis. I think that the Bucs' new play caller was able to exploit a pretty poor defense. It's going to be really interesting to watch for when Jameis Winston comes back to see if they really will ride with Ryan Fitzpatrick as their starter. And I promise, if I was wrong about the Bucs, I'll be the first to admit it. Man, I hate to beat a dead horse here, but Eli looked about as bad as I anticipated he would look this season. The offensive line is not as improved as some people may have hoped, but they still gave him enough time to be able to make some of these throws that I feel like I've seen him make before. Odell Beckham was torching the Jaguars' vaunted secondary, but Eli left about 3 touchdowns on the field with just poor misses. The Dolphins-Titans game is hard to get a read on due to the weather circumstances that made this the longest game in NFL history. I don't think that the Dolphins are a very good team, and it made me question if the Titans are as good as I originally predicted. But I'm not putting too much stock into an awkwardly played game, and I still don't anticipate the Dolphins to win more than 6 or 7 games this year. Andrew Luck looked a lot better than I think anyone outside of Indianapolis anticipated in his first game back, and I think that the Bengals defense is actually going to be a pretty decent unit this year, so I put a relatively high amount of stock into his performance. I think that we can all anticipate that he is going to continue to improve as he shakes the rust from his time off, but until we see that, it's hard to trust the Colts defense holding up their side of the bargain here. Joe Mixon and the offense look great, but I think that might be more of a testament to how bad the Colts defense is. They've got a game coming up against the Ravens this week on Thursday Night Football, and I think that they'll actually be sharper and more prepared than the Ravens due to the fact they played such a close game already compared to the Ravens blowout, and on top of that, it's a home game for them. We'll see. I'm still not sure what to think about the Seahawks. I know a lot of people are down on them, and for good reason. Case Keenum tried to give them the game, but the Seahawks couldn't capitalize. I think there's way too much pressure on Russell Wilson to put up 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns every single week, and this team and this offense are just not built to do that. But how about Earl Thomas just stepping into the lineup and performing like that? They need to pay that man or send him somewhere that will. Cowboys. Case Keenum was so effective for the Vikings last year because he allowed the defense to do their thing and he didn't turn the ball over. Well, in his first game with the Broncos, he didn't do such a good job of that. I don't think he's going to be an effective 16-game starter, and we're probably going to see Chad Kelly sooner than expected. The Broncos defense can still be leaned on to keep this offense in games, but they need a quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over. We'll see how long that remains Keenum. The Jets looked awesome on Monday Night Football. Sam Darnold had a start similar to Kareem Hunt in last year's kickoff game, an early turnover that quick turned into a dominating performance. Darnold looks like the truth, and it might take a while for them to admit it, but Giants fans are really going to wish their team made a smart move and drafted a franchise quarterback over a running back. And listen up, Jets fan, I promise you that performance got the Patriots glancing over their shoulder just a little bit. The Redskins look like a very well-balanced team against the Cardinals. This is one of those situations where you have to evaluate. Are the Redskins really that good, or are the Cardinals that bad? I tend to lean towards the latter, but Alex Smith is going to be a really good quarterback in this system, and Adrian Peterson will be good for a few more games this year. When AP hits that old man wall, I anticipate the Redskins offense to do the same, because without an effective running game, Alex Smith is just not nearly as productive. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Redskins as a playoff sleeper this year, but let's see them do that against a better team first. Once again, the Dolphins and Titans game is hard to get a read on because of those weather delays, but I was a little bit disappointed with the lack of production from the Titans offense. I anticipate that they will start to gel a little bit more moving forward, but until then, it's hard to trust that Mariota has not really reached his ceiling in his ability to be a productive NFL quarterback. I still have the Titans above the Dolphins because I see them as a more talented team in the long run. I know Cowboys fans are already panicking and that they're ready to fire the coach, the offensive coordinator, and everybody else, but pump the brakes because this Panthers team is damn good. The offense looked like a unit that lost its top 2 receiving options for the last 8 years while also missing the best center in football. If the coaches think that they can just line up and play head-to-head with the top defenses, they've got another thing coming, but with a little bit more creativity, I think this offense will be fine. And other than acting like the read option was a brand new thing, the defense played relatively well also. The 49ers ran into what I think is the best team in the NFL, spoiler alert, so they shouldn't feel too badly that they lost a relatively close game on the road to start the season. I still think that the lack of offensive weapons is going to bite them in the butt in the long run, but for now, they remain a contender in the NFC West for sure. The Chargers really disappointed me with their Week 1 matchup with the Chiefs, but they were missing their best player overall in Joey Bosa. And, you know, surprise, surprise, I picked him to win Defensive Player of the Year, and it looks like he's got a relatively serious foot injury. And the Chargers' bad luck continues. I might be even more disappointed in the Chargers because the Chiefs' defense is not all that, but they were tasked with keeping up with what looks like to be one of the more explosive offenses in the NFL. I could be overrating the Chargers at this point, and if Joey Bosa doesn't come back anytime soon, they'll be likely sliding down this list. Saints fans are also in panic mode after they saw what Ryan Fitzpatrick did to their defense, but keep in mind that when you're playing a divisional opponent that had all offseason to prepare, you're going to run into some surprises. The good news is that your offense was able to keep pace and Drew Brees looks as sharp as ever. I do think that Mark Ingram's presence was vastly missed in the running game because he could have slowed down the game for the Saints and decreased the amount of possessions for the Bucs. Lucky for the Saints, the Browns are next up on their schedule, but if they lose that, then it may be time to panic. The Bears had the Packers pinned against the wall and allowed Aaron Rodgers to come back in the second half. As bad as that's gotta feel, you've gotta look at the potential of this team. Allen Robinson looked awesome. Mitch Trubisky wasn't awful, and oh yeah, this guy Khalil Mack is a freaking baller. Mack made a much greater impact than I anticipated in his first game with the Bears, but you could see what all that time spent away from training camp did to his stamina. Wait until he gets his legs under him, and he's looking at potentially Defensive Player of the Year production on this Bears defense. Guess who's back, guys? The Bears! I'm sure Ravens fans probably think they should be #1 on this list after that complete shellacking of the Buffalo Bills. I can't remember the last time we saw a dominating performance quite like that on both sides of the ball, and I definitely think the Ravens are going to be a lot better than people projected going into this season, and that their defense is going to be playing at an elite level. It's nice to see Joe Flacco have some guys with actual hands to throw to now because it seems like they've had nobody there since Steve Smith retired. Let's see the Ravens do it again on Thursday Night Football on the road against a divisional opponent, and then I'll be really impressed. So I didn't pick the Chiefs to win in Week 1, but man, am I so glad that they won the way that they did. I really want to see Patrick Mahomes do well, and it's exciting to see them get off to such a great start against what I thought was going to be another elite defense. Andy Reid has always been known for his offensive genius, and I really hope that he doesn't forget about Kareem Hunt like he tends to do with all of his running backs, because this could be a scary offense moving forward. This division is wide open, and getting a road win over the next most likely candidate is a great step in securing the West. The Packers came out and got dominated by the Bears early on Sunday night, but as long as you've got that guy Aaron Rodgers back there, anything is possible. If Aaron Rodgers' knee is a little bit banged up, I actually think that this downfield passing offense could be even more explosive with him forced to stay in the pocket a little bit more. He seemed like he was relying a little too much on his scrambling early on, and you can see how much of a surgeon he is when he stays in the pocket. I predicted him as the NFL MVP going into the season, and I see no reason to waver from that now. In the bashing of the Cowboys, people are missing the point here and still not giving the Panthers enough credit. They looked balanced and efficient on all sides of the ball, and if Cam Newton is right, there's no telling how far he can take this team. The Panthers have a chance to take an early lead in this division next week with a road game against the Falcons. If they win that, then they're clearly the favorites for the NFC South. Overreaction Monday is over, and I guess overreaction Friday for the Falcons since they played on Thursday last week. And I think that we can settle down to remember that the Eagles did just win the Super Bowl, and they are still a pretty damn good team. The Falcons ran into that Super Bowl team the night of them celebrating their previous championship, on the road and in the rain. Not to mention they had to play against the refs too. I still think this is a Super Bowl contending team, but Steve Sarkisian has got a lot of work to do building a game plan for this offense, because there's no excuse when you have weapons like this to struggle in the red zone like they did. I'm not gonna lie, Deshaun Watson did not look good against the Patriots, but that should have been anticipated because Bill Belichick tends to do that the second time around when playing young quarterbacks. The Texans were still right there in the game at the end with a chance to tie, and that's something they can hang their hat on moving forward, because that was probably the class of the AFC. Their game this week against the Titans is going to be crucial though, because you don't want to start 0-2 when you've got playoff aspirations. The Steelers tied the Browns, and people want to downgrade them just for letting that happen. I tried to tell you guys in my week 1 pick'em last week that this is not the same old Browns and that they were going to give the Steelers a good game. James Conner looked awesome, and he's going to provide great depth going down the road if and when Le'Veon Bell comes back. But let's not pretend like this team is as good as they could be right now. I would be a little bit concerned if I was a Steelers fan, because it seems like the entire team is turning their back on one of their best players, and he's just trying to make a good business decision. I don't know what the outcome of this situation is going to be, but I do hope that Bell returns soon, because the Steelers offense is much more exciting to watch with their triplets intact. The Patriots came out and handled their business as expected in week 1. Tom Brady looks great, Rob Gronkowski looks great, and the defense looks good. As of right now, the Patriots should continue their dominance over the AFC East and will probably be one of the final teams left to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl once again. God help us all. If I'm being honest, I was actually hoping to see the Jaguars defense assert their dominance a little bit more on the Giants, but the Jaguars looked as balanced as they did last year. Without Leonard Fournette, I worry about their Super Bowl aspirations if this hamstring injury lingers. The Eagles shut down one of the best offenses in the NFL in week 1 and should be getting one of the biggest boosts a football team could possibly ask for in the next few weeks when Carson Wentz comes back. The NFC East hasn't had a back-to-back winner in a long time, but as of right now, it's looking like it may happen this year. The Rams struggled more than anticipated against the Raiders on Monday Night Football, but I'm going to chalk that up to the Raiders not being as bad as I thought rather than the Rams not being as good as I thought. The Rams were one of the best teams in the NFL last year and made huge improvements at key positions. I anticipate that they need a few games to gel and really get into their stride as one of the elite in the NFL this year. I'm driving the Vikings bandwagon, so you guys can jump on board now. Kirk Cousins looks like he's going to be in the MVP this race year because Stephon Diggs and him looked in sync early and often, and Cousins has never had a receiving core like this. The best thing about the Vikings offense is that they don't have to do too much or take too many chances because that defense is going to be ferocious all season long. That's going to do it for my power rankings this week. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comments below. I'm sure I pissed off more of you than I can count, but remember, this is all in fun. Power rankings don't matter a bit. If I see you in the comments not having fun, trust me, I will be quick to drop the ban hammer on people because I saw quite a bit of negativity on my week 1 pick'em video, and this is my channel and I'm not going to put up with that crap basically. If you can't talk trash civilly, then you're going to take your negativity somewhere else. For those of you that can maintain a positive attitude in the comments section, I appreciate you, I respect you, and I look forward to talking with you more down there. Good luck to everybody's football team this week, and I will see you in the next video.